Cowboys are getting closer and closer to training camp. And with that being said, I wanted to continue this position evaluation series that I started 2 days ago, where we go over each individual position group with each individual player and just give an overall thought process of how I feel about that position group and where would I grade it on a letter score. Now, with that being said, if you missed the last video where we talked about the quarterbacks, there's a card at the top right of the screen, somewhere right over here, where you can click on it and go see the previous video before you come here, so you're all caught up with where I'm evaluating the team. Now, if this is something that you've enjoyed and want to get more of it, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe for the new content, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on it when it comes out. Now, getting to these running backs, okay? To start things off with Ezekiel Elliott, he is your starter. I think that this is no question about it. And the reasoning is, hey, listen, he's the highest paid running back on roster. And the way I would look at it is, hey, he's the guy that you can lean on when you need, that bell cow running back. Now, before you go into the comments and just tell me like, oh, Zeke is washed, all this other stuff, I feel like, and I've said this before, we need to see one more year or two before we can say, hey, we need to get rid of Zeke, or hey, he's washed up. It's kind of hard to be like, after a year where the whole team is filled with injuries and then the offensive line is just a complete mess where everyone's hurt and Zeke continuously fumbles the ball because, of the silly mistakes and stuff like that. I need to see a trend before I can go on the, it's time to kick him off the bridge type of thing. But I will say, there are some expectations we should see from Zeke. We need to see more long runs from him. We haven't seen a lot of 20-plus yard runs during this year. I mean, there's only a handful. And I understand that Zeke is more of the ground and pound type of, you can give the ball to him and he's durable, which I would prefer, especially if I'm giving the guy all that money. But we need to see him become an effective player still. I want to see that. Not saying that he isn't, but, you get what I'm getting at. So, for me, I think that Zeke is pretty much still a top 3, top 5 running back. I still fully believe that because of the overall package he has in his running game and just him being a running back, the blocker, the pass catcher, all that stuff. I think a lot of people just look at the running back aspect of things and say, oh, he's washed up there. But, you really look at it, the guy can really be a versatile weapon as we've been wanting to see from him. And I think that we're going to see him improve. I really do. So just to put this into perspective, I think that Ezekiel Elliott will have a bounce back year, assuming he stays upright, and more importantly, this offensive line stays upright as well. I think he can have a really good year. I think he can have a Pro Bowl caliber year, and I don't see a reason why he can't. Now, getting to his backup in Tony Pollard. Now, with Tony, he has more of an explosive nature to him. His home run ability is far better than Zeke's as of right now, until proven otherwise. He just has a next level gear to him that I believe the Cowboys need to take advantage of. We saw last season what we can do with Tony and how he can really impact the game. I mean, even in his rookie year, you can really say, you know what, I do think that the Cowboys have something in this 1-2 punch. I mean, we were saying that for years, for the past 2 seasons. The problem was that the coaching staff didn't get him involved as he should be involved, right? And if I'm Dallas, you really need to think about how you can, if you're going to keep Zeke as the primary guy, I would love to see, and from what we're hearing from camp, I understand that this is just a couple practices, so I can't take this for certain. But to have Tony Pollard in the passing game would be great. I mean, there were flashes of where you could see that, not just like dump offs, but like actual running routes type of thing, and it would be hard to game plan for some of these weapons that we have. You talk about our receiving options, and we'll talk about that in the next video, but to have Tony Pollard out there is even crazy. So I do believe that He needs more touches, and this would help Ezekiel Elliott prolong his career. He's not getting as many brutal hits. He's not taking as many punches. He gets less carry, so he gets less tread on his tires. I think it's a no-brainer, and especially if you're not going to bring Tony Pollard back when you have 2 more seasons of him left to go, you really need to get the best out of him. Especially if you're not going to bring him back, which the Cowboys probably won't. Unless Zeke falls off a cliff, then I could see Tony being the starter. Like, Tony Pollard can definitely be a starting running back in this league. He definitely can. Now, I do want to talk about the other guys on this roster, and I'm not going to particularly go over them fully individually because we haven't seen a lot from them. And then there's some rookies on the roster that I'll just throw their names out, but I'm not going to give you a full in-depth analysis as a disclaimer because I haven't seen anything from them on the field or just note-wise to really say. So we have Rico Dowdle. I think that's how you pronounce his last name. I forget. He had a couple of snaps this year, but he's really just like he's there in case someone gets hurt. I didn't see anything outer-worldly to be like, hey, you know what, this guy can definitely do this, that, and the third, and we just need to give him some more snaps. Like, it's not like a Tony Pollard situation. It's more of like okay, he's there in case someone gets hurt type of thing, like last year. If Zeke's not playing, he's just there to get, to give Tony Pollard a break. And so, if I'm the Cowboys, we need to see a lot more from the third, fourth string guys. Because, while Rico did make the team last season, okay? While he did make the team last season, that doesn't mean anything if he's not contributing, or rather, it doesn't mean that he has to get the ball every single game. Because odds are you're just going to go into a game with Zeke and Tony, right? But if he's not going to play, there's no point in putting him on the roster. You could save a roster spot for someone else. That's the point. And I think I would believe last year he was on the practice squad and then they promoted him when Zeke got hurt. I don't recall. But yeah, that's just how I'd look at it. So moving on to the rookies. Now bear with me because I'm looking at the screen so let's see. So there's Jaquan Hardy, Brendan Knox, and Nick Ralston. And I know you're going to mention, what about Sewo Alunya? He's a fullback. We haven't really seen a whole lot from him. I mean, even if I go and look at him, he has yet to really see any action. So it kind of sucks because I would really love to see what he can do. I mean, another thing that irritates me is, like, if you're going to have him for the sake of having a fullback, there's no real point in having a fullback then. Just saying. So, if I'm the Cowboys, if you're not going to use him, and I feel like if you need a fullback, he's your guy. He's a young guy. He's definitely better than Jameez Olawale, because Jameez really wasn't being used at all. But that's the thing that bothers me. Don't put fullbacks on your roster if you're not going to use them. They're just a useless position at that point. So, that's all I got to say on that. Now, as for the other guys, I can't tell you how I feel about these guys. And the reason for that is because I just believe that, when I look at these rookies, and this goes for any position group, I'm not going to give you any negative or positive opinion about someone that I have not seen play yet or heard news about. Okay? So I'm going to leave them as blank slates. Who knows? Maybe one of them ends up being something that, like, hey, cool, we have, like, an option outside of, Rico to be the third guy or something like that. But I've yet to see that. So, in totality, right, we talked about Zeke, talked about Tony, talked about all the other guys below them. Where would I rank this position group? Well, similar to the other quarterbacks, it really is off of the running back, starter, right? The starters really, in any position group, really influence how the grading is. And so, for Zeke himself, I would grade him, an A running back. I think that Tony, definitely B plus B minus type of back. I mean, for what he is, it's an A too, because you have a guy that getting paid cheaply and has the ability to really be that second option that you put in and really throw off a team. And you can be like, you know what, Zeke, you're having 20 plus carries in this game, and things aren't working. We could just put the other guy in there. You have another option, which is cool, with a whole different dynamic to him. And then as for the other guys, they're kind of like bodies, or like, hey, we have someone just in case. I mean, to be completely honest with you, I'd give the Cowboys an A with their running backs. I don't see a reason why not, until proven otherwise. I think that with Zeke, as I mentioned, he's still a top 5, top 3 running back in this league until we start seeing a trend. I think you look at Tony Pollard and you could say to yourself, hey, you have a backup that can definitely change the pace of how you want to run your offense, and a versatile, like Swiss Army knife type of guy. And then, you have the other guys that, who knows? But they're really much bodies. But it really comes down to your starter and backup, and they are a very good duo that I really hope we get to see a lot more of this year. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'm hoping we can, keep going on with this. So we'll do the wide receivers next. And there's a lot more there. So I will give a disclaimer. As we get to the larger position groups, such as wide receiver, defensive back, and linebacker, I'm going to start doing them in tiers. So just expect that, and I'll explain in the other videos. So with all that being said, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and hit the notification bell, and I'll check you guys out in the next one. All right, guys, have a great one. Bye-bye.